Welcome to Kcse English. In today's episode, we continue our discussion of characterization in Henry Olekule's Blossoms of the Savannah. In today's episode, we are going to look at the younger characters in the novel who, in essence, drive this novel to denouement. We are going to look at Taiyo and Resian. As we noted last time, remember all the time when you are describing a character, make use of the right adjectives that describe that character. We have had very many problems in the examinations because students do not remember that a character is described by use of adjectives. Bear that in mind as we start our discussion today. With me to discuss these two characters is Madam Brenda Midika. Madam Brenda Midika is a renowned teacher of English language and well versed with the setting of examinations in this country. Welcome.
Thank you, Professor.
You may want to move this discussion by simply focusing on Taiyo and look at the kind of character Taiyo is. Use the right adjectives to describe the character for our students. For example, I find Taiyo extremely intelligent.
Yes, I would say she is intelligent, not just intelligent in the mind, but in the way she's doing her actions. And you see the way she can judge her father's temper and the way she can approach the father. That is part of intelligence. You know, you look at the person and you're able to say, this is not the right time. Again, we know that she's intelligent because she is now going to university, because she has studied and she is ready to go to university. And we know that students, for you to go to the university, you actually have to score a good grade, which is a C+ and above. So we definitely know that she had a C+ and above.
Now, looking at the idea of being intelligent, I think it is also related to being responsible.
Yes, very.
And being bold.
Yes. We can say that she is responsible because even the way she is assigned duties in the house. You see, the mother says, Resian, do this, Resian is, Taiyo, do this, Taiyo is doing it. Taiyo, organize for the visitors, Taiyo is ready to organize for the visitors and prepare the meal for them. You know, she is responsible to take care of her small sister, who is Resian. And she's wondering, why does my father hate my sister this much? You see, why? And so she takes it her own responsibility to always be wiping her sister's tears. And that is what the author said, that it was her responsibility to wipe these tears because she knew that the father did not like her. And so she had to take charge of that. Again, she is bold and daring. You know, she looks at the way the community and questions, why is this community treating women like this? She is even ready she's even ready to go and join a Kcse and say, we are going to fight against this vice, which is female genital mutilation. And so this again makes her to be a bold and a daring character, to go against a woman, to go against the society's culture, and so to join a woman who is disrespected, who is hated by the community. She is even termed as the wasp, and that is a Kcse.
But related to what you have said about this character, we may also add that she is a very reflective character.
Yes, very.
She reflects on the realities that confront the sister, the realities within which the two of them live. And therefore we can say she is quite reflective and also empathetic.
Very good, yes.
Very empathetic about the sister. And you can see this as she tries to take care of her. But related to that, therefore, she's also responsible.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is responsible, and we have just said being empathetic and being responsible. Empathetic, she can feel her sister's situation, you know, why the father hates her sister. And so she's also responsible to take it her duty to make sure that her sister does not cry, you know, her sister is a bit happy. We can also say that she is assertive, you know.
Yes.
An assertive character is a character who knows what she wants and she is ready to go for this. In as much as she is assertive, she knows what she wants. We cannot say that she is the same as her sister, who is a bit more combative when she wants what she wants. So again, assertive in the sense that she knows what she wants and she wants to go for it. And again, she is a bit stubborn, you know, a bit stubborn, you know, when the father says that you are not going to get into college or in university, she keeps pursuing the same agenda that, father, we should go to the university, in as much as she doesn't talk about it a lot, you know. Again, we say that she is a bit slow compared to her sister.
So we can also say that Taiyo is also very persistent.
Yes.
It is that character of persistence that drives her to actually want to get what she feels belongs to her.
Yes.
Some kind of go-getter.
Yes. And what she really feels belongs to her is her love for Joseph Parmouat. You see, this is when we see now, we see her assertiveness, we see her persuasiveness to seek something that she has been warned against. You see, again, that is the stubbornness we are talking about. She even goes to Joseph Parmouat's house and says, Joseph, I love you, you know, and begs Joseph to love her back. So you see, again, the persistence, the assertiveness to get love. And you see, then we can tell her she's a loving character.
Yes, she's a loving character.
Yeah.
Very loving.
Yes.
And I like the whole idea of requesting that she should be loved back.
Yes,
you know.
it's very rare for a student, for our female students to go and do the proposal, you see.
Yes.
And so when they read this book, some of the boys are like, no, it shouldn't be like this, you see.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
And then that becomes an interesting situation in a classroom.
Exactly.
Where you now can engage the students and, you know, you go into what they confront in life.
Yeah, sometimes, Professor, when I read this text with the students, I usually look forward to this part between Taiyo and Joseph Parmouat, because it is actually one of the parts that these students enjoy reading.
You get animated.
You tell them to act. They might even act it in class, but we don't know. That would be a bit sensitive. Yeah.
No, but I think if you made students to act in class, and actually use the same words, that would even become a better way of making the text be understood by the student.
Exactly.
But having said all that we have said on Taiyo, perhaps it is now important to focus on the sister. And we see, although there are certain characteristics that they share, but one thing that is very clear is that Resian is quite determined in a sense.
Yes, and it's very important for the students to know that Taiyo is the apple of the father's eye, yet Resian is the hated child who never was a boy. And so from this situation of learning that she is never liked or she has never been appreciated in this family, she has to find this character, she has to find a way of fighting for herself. And so that is why she has to be
assertive.
Yeah. She has to be assertive to fight her way out of it. You know, even the way the situation comes in, the way she runs from the house, the way she runs from the female circumcised through Nabaru, she just has to find a way of running away, you know, find a way of fighting for herself. And you see, it is through this assertiveness she runs away from the cat.
And therefore you can say, in relation to just what you have mentioned, she is bold. To take such a move, one needs to be bold.
Yes.
You must be bold, you must be calculating.
very calculating.
Yes.
You know, she has already looked at her father's greedy behavior. She has assessed her father. And so when Olosudori comes and says, you are going to be my husband, she says, I cannot be your husband, your wife. You're going to be my wife. And so she says, I cannot be your wife. You see, how can I be your wife when I am this young? And so she takes this step going to confront the father, you know, the boldness.
Yes.
And that is when the father really hands her a very serious slap.
Yes.
You know, again, what we are saying, we talked about being determined to run away from this situation. Very ambitious. I want to go to the university. Visionary or ambitious. I want to go to the university. I want to seek an education and come back and transform my society.
You've mentioned something very important. The idea of being ambitious. The idea of being determined to pursue your dreams. And that is what happens.
Yeah.
So at that point, the student then can get into the text and bring out other aspects of what we have talked about. When we talk about this girl being determined, there are many instances in the text that we may not exhaust in this discussion. When we say the girl is bold, there are many other examples that we can get out of the text. And we should, I think, mention to our students that when we ask you a certain question in terms of, say, a character, we would like you to mention the characteristic, explain that very characteristic,
Yes.
and then illustrate that characteristic.
Yes.
You get full marks.
Yes, yes. And that's why they should know why they tell you, they give you 3 marks for that.
Yeah.
This is what Professor has said. Explain the character trait, give the character trait, explain it, and then you illustrate from the text. And so, again, students should be deep. You should be deep when you're looking at a character trait. Don't use the common adjectives that are normally used that sometimes they lose meaning in a text. Be more thoughtful, be more creative in thinking or contextualizing your character, especially when it comes to an excerpt question.
Yeah, in fact, you can use so many adjectives to describe, this girl. You may say she's actually a visionary. She's intelligent. She's foresighted.
Exactly. Yeah. Foresighted is to know what you are looking for in the future. And she knows what she wants in the future. She's not going to settle for this, for less. She knows that she wants to go to university. She knows that she wants to come back and join in Makerere, fight against the vice of female genital mutilation. And so it is this ambition, this foresight that is making her to fight all the situations that she's coming across.
That's why perhaps it's also important for us to point out that this character is also quite persuasive.
Yes, yes.
Persuasive in the sense that she knows what she wants. She is ready to persuade people and to convince people to buy into her idea.
Very good.
And this is something that students may want to look at and look at the specific instances in the text where she comes out as being persuasive. But again, we may want to talk about her being defiant.
She is defiant in the sense that she actually says no to her father's ambitions.
Yes.
She says no to her father's thoughts. She says she just does not agree with anything that the father says because she believes that this is going to go against her personal principles. And so the defiance, we can say that, yes, defiance is a negative attribute, but for her, I look at it and look at this defiance in the sense of being a positive attribute to her. Because she knew if she doesn't become defiant and if she doesn't disobey some of the things that the father is saying, she would have ended up more frustrated as a character.
Maybe we could talk about positive defiance.
Oh, yes.
In this text, I think you can talk about that because if somebody wants to take you through genital mutilation and you refuse to accept that kind of thing, then you have defied fine, but that is positive.
Yes.
because you know your rights.
Yes.
You may also say, well, this character is defiant, but you may twitch it. Not just being defiant, she's rebellious.
Yes.
She rebels against certain cultural values and traits that she thinks are going to hamper her growth. But as we come to the end of this episode, maybe we should focus on that secretive nature, her secretive nature. Yes.
Yes, we look at her, and first of all, we look at her deep thinking that she does not need to reveal any of her plans, you know, for any of her plans to anybody, because the only thing she's holding on is to go to university. But remember, when she is even going away, she's being taken by to go away, she's being taken to a place that she does not know. She remains calm, you know. The character does not understand why this girl is very quiet, and so when she's about to go undergo the cut, she finally comes out, you see. And so it is a secretive personality, you know, of hiding from the father, of hiding from the cultural setup, and so that makes her to be a winner, you know. She ends up being winner because she, in her mind, there's always this compartment that she has put that there's harm that is coming, you know, and she knows that this is the harm that is coming, and this harm, I need to find a way of coming away from this harm.
Yes. In fact, as we discuss this character, I think it is also important to draw our students to what happens in real life. They should be able to see some female leaders in this country who have stood up for the rights of other people and fought hard. A good example would be the case of the late Wangari Maathai, who finally won a Nobel Prize. And therefore, Wangari Maathai then remains more of a character or a person you can look forward to, you can look at and say, yes, this is the kind of person I want to be, a role model, so to speak. And we can then bring our students to our society to look at some of the people. They may not be known in the whole country, but in their locality, there are women who have stood up. There are girls who have said, no, this will not happen to me, and so on. Those are some of the things that we should come out in making sure that the student relates to this novel closely.
Yes, it's very true, because I have been in situations where I'm teaching, and these children, when they look at Resian from a very thoughtful perspective, some of them say, I see my mother. Who has fought for me. She has been defiant. She has run away from domestic violence. She has seen us through, you know. And now here we are. My sisters are in good school, are now working. Now I'm in school because I'm ambitious because I want to go to the university. You see, the way you are saying, bring it to their level. Students, it's important for us to look at our characters, not just reading. Let's bring them to our society, because those are those are some of the questions that you'll be asked. Just bring them to your society next to you.
Maybe as we wind up, I want to give you time to maybe relate this to the kind of questions that are asked at Kcse, so that we see how this is applicable to the kind of environment that our students find themselves in.
Yes, some of the questions you will come across is that determination is the key to success. So this question is asking you to talk about probably Resian and Taiyo, because they are the two characters who have shown persistent determination in what they want. And you know, at the end of it, both of them live as going to the university. So some of these questions, determination is the key to success. Some questions tell us that women can do what they want to do as long as they are focused on that. You see,
and then you give examples
from the text. Yes. You see, some of these questions will talk about that, and so some students will learn all these character traits, and they want the question to come, what are the character traits of Taiyo and Resian? That is not the way the questions will be set up. The questions will be set in a way that they're asking you to look at the characters, but again, think about them deeply.
In relation to your society.
Yes.
So I think that is a very important aspect that we should focus on in our next episode as we conclude the discussion on characterization.
It's true.
On that note, we come to the end of Kcse English, in which we focused on characterization in Blossoms of the Savannah. With me to discuss this important book is Madam Brenda Midika. I hope you'll find time to discuss the remaining characters with us in our next episode.
Thank you, Professor. I'll be there.
Thank you very much. On behalf of my crew, Neka and Pambi, I would like to invite you to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I am Igara Kabaji.